The Applications step is where you define the HR system and directory service for your Hire2Retire integration. To start, find your HR system in Hire2Retire's collection of natively supported HR systems. Certain HR systems offer the option to use an API-based integration instead of the traditional file extract method. Next, choose from one of Hire2Retire's 4 supported directory service integrations. If you use an on-prem or hybrid setup, you will also need to select your connection type. Finally, you can enable certain features such as pre-boarding and scheduled terminations. When you're ready to move on to the next step, click the Configure Connection button. Now that you have defined your HR system and directory service, it's time to establish those connections in the Connections step. Select the section for your HR system, click the Add Connection button, and fill in the information needed to establish the connection. Repeat this step in the section for your directory service. If you need help, you can always click on the question mark next to your HR system or directory service. Once you have set up your connections, click on the Configure Workflow button. The HR Data Definition step is where you select and define the employee profile attributes from your HR system. To start, choose between a full extract that will pull data at regular intervals or a one-time load that will run only when you initially deploy your workflow. Next, select the HR system attributes you want Hire2Retire to process. Finally, you can set additional preferences such as the preferred date format and time zone. When you are done, click on the Save and Next button. The HR to AD Profile Map step is where you will link your HR system's employee attributes to your directory services employee attributes. On the left side, there are fields for all of the attributes of your directory service. On the right side, there is a list of all the employee attributes you selected from your HR system. To link these attributes, select and drag an HR system attribute into the corresponding directory service attribute field. You will also need to define your UPN prefix and suffix in this section. When you have finished mapping attributes, click on the Save and Next button. With your employee attributes defined and linked, it's time to set up your employee lifecycle event preferences in the Lifecycle Business Rules step. To begin, check all the lifecycle events you want Hire2Retire to process. When a lifecycle event is checked, the drop-down menu for that event will appear. You can also select which leave scenarios you want Hire2Retire to process. Click on the drop-down menu to open it, then define your preferences for that lifecycle event. If you need to use an HR employee attribute, you can click and drag it from the section on the right side. When you are done, click Save and Next. The Employment Status step is the short but crucial process of establishing which HR attributes will define an employee's lifecycle state. Next to the Start Date text, select the drop-down menu and find the HR attribute that defines an employee's start date. Repeat this step to define an employee's last day of work and long-term leave status. When you have defined these attributes, click Save and Next. For Hire2Retire workflows that use on-prem AD or hybrid AD setups, the Organizational Unit Assignment step is where you create your OUs and define how to sort employees into different units. Find the table where you will create your OU assignment rules and click the Choose Attributes button. Then, select the employee attributes to sort into groups and the rule that will define how they are sorted. You can also click on the 3 dots to add and/or logic rules. In the bottom row of the table, enter the employee attribute value on the left and select the corresponding OU on the right. To add another row, click the plus button. You can also click the AI Insights button to have your OU assignments automatically generated. When you are done, click Save and Next. The Group Memberships step is where you define your security groups and distribution lists. The groups and lists to define based on your directory service are listed as menu bars at the top of the screen. Find the table where you will create your group assignment rules and click the Choose Attributes button. Then, select the employee attribute to sort into groups and the rule that will define how they are sorted. You can also click on the 3 dots to add and/or logic rules. In the bottom row of the table, enter the employee attribute value on the left and select the corresponding group on the right. To add another row, click the plus button. You can also click the AI Insights button to have your group membership assignments automatically generated. When you are done, click Save and Next. In the final Hire2Retire core step, the Communication Hub, you will select the email templates to be sent upon an employee lifecycle event happening. Select a drop-down menu for a lifecycle event and choose the email template to be automatically sent from the list of email templates that appear. If you want to create a new email template, select the Create New Template button. Once you have finished this step, click Save and Next, and choose whether to add service desk integrations, access provisioning, or continue to deploy your Hire2Retire workflow. In the Service Desk section, you can easily set up integrations for ITSM tickets to be automatically created for various lifecycle changes. To get started, select one or more Service Desk applications where you want the tickets to be created. After selecting the Service Desk applications to be integrated, click on the Configure Integration button. Set up your connections and click on the Link Account button when you are finished. Once an employee's lifecycle change is synchronized to your directory service, Hire2Retire will automatically generate the configured ITSM tickets in the Service Desk. The Access tab on the navigation bar is where you can create integrations with a library of third-party SIM applications for auto-provisioning and deprovisioning. To start, select one or multiple applications you want to integrate with Hire2Retire for auto-provisioning and deprovisioning. Then, click on the Configure Provisioning button. Next, set up your connections. Hire2Retire can now automatically provision and deprovision users in the selected third-party applications based on lifecycle changes that happen in your HR system. Hire2Retire lets you track all the lifecycle events that happen within your workflow on the Observe page. At the top of the Observe page, you can filter the lifecycle events by event type and search for events with a specific name or employee ID, or within a certain date range. 2 charts summarize the processed lifecycle events, one that sorts events by whether they succeeded or failed, and one that sorts them by the event type. Once you have applied your filters, all the lifecycle events that meet them will be displayed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to learn more about a specific event, you can click the page icon next to it to see a full breakdown of all the changes made to the employee profiles. To export a report of the processed lifecycle events, click on the Export Report button. To regularly schedule an automatic event report, click on the Schedule Report button.